Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm a historian, broadcaster and academic, and I love historical fiction. But what I love more is the history behind the fiction. And in this clip, to celebrate the new release of the best biography I've ever read on Thomas More by Dr. John Paul, I would like to review a short clip of Thomas More in the Tudors TV show and discuss with you if it could be the best kind of portrayal of Thomas More. In that clip, do we have the man that Thomas More truly was? I know it's a complex question because we all know that human beings are very, very complex and have layers to their personalities. So let's see. Why do I think this scene with Cardinal Wolsey really shows us a glimpse of what Thomas More could have been really like? Let's dive in.
What was I supposed to do?
I don't know. But I agree with you, it was crude and unacceptable. I'm disappointed in His Majesty.
Thomas, I have to ask you this. Will you accept the judgment of the cardinals?
So here it's a very difficult situation for Cardinal Wolsey and for Thomas More. Henry VIII really wants an annulment from Catherine of Aragon. And the problem with it is obviously that it had been recognized by the Pope ages ago that this marriage had been going on for a very long time. And these two men are extremely Catholic, extremely pious. And for Thomas More, it's not just about can he really accept the judgment of cardinals instead of the Pope. But what is going on, really? And he said it here. I'm very disappointed in His Majesty. And I really believe that line. I think that line is so good because I think that Thomas More was really disappointed in Henry VIII. He had spent years by his side. He knew the man, he knew his weaknesses, but he really supported the Tudor dynasty. He really supported Henry VIII. But now Henry VIII, in his quest of having a male heir, was really turning his back on everything that Thomas More believed in.
What does it matter now? The Pope is free. There's no need for a conclave.
The Pope is free, right? We're talking here about the fact that Charles V had sacked Rome in 1527 and had the Pope under his control. And Charles V was the nephew of Catherine of Aragon, and there was no way he would let Henry VIII disrespect his aunt. Here, Thomas More is saying, there's no need for me to accept what the cardinals are saying. The Pope is free. So surely that's the route to follow. But there's more complexity behind all these European politics. And Cardinal Wolsey understood that very well.
No, there is more need than ever. The Pope is still in the power of the Emperor, unable to exercise any control over the Church. So someone else must do so, and I ask you again, will you accept the judgment of the cardinals?
That face. I can't really do it, but that face that he's making here really shows you how hard it was for Thomas More to accept an annulment that the Pope had recognized ages ago, that had been accepted by the Catholic Church ages ago. Going back on all of this was very difficult for Thomas More.
Oh, if you are not for me now, then you are against me. The stakes are growing higher. Mr. Cromwell tells me that the king now dines with Norfolk and Berlin. They are my bitter enemies. They constantly seek my downfall, and if you do not help me, then you help them. And need I remind you of this? You owe all your advancement in this world to me.
And we have it here. We have the power struggle. We have the dynamic in the relationship. And it's true. Thomas More is like Thomas Cromwell in many ways. He comes from nothing. And it's with his brain and his intelligence and his talent that he managed to rise at court. But also thanks to patrons like Cardinal Wolsey. What I don't like in that scene, though, is obviously how he's trying to manipulate Thomas More. Again, let's look at how Thomas More is reacting. Very silent. Tortured in many ways between his loyalty to Wolsey and his loyalty to his faith.
Thomas, we've known each other a long time. I know you've often complained about my methods, my way of dealing, but underneath all of that, I believe we still share many things. We're still humanists, even though the world batters our beliefs and compromises our actions.
Well, nothing, no earthly thing, not even a prince, will ever compromise mine.
Here it is. In a nutshell, you have Thomas More. Nothing could compromise his beliefs. And that's why this portrayal of Thomas More is so good in the Tudors. That line alone is so Thomas More-like. It's such a good line. It's such a good representation of the man that Thomas More was. And that's why I love that portrayal of Thomas More. I think it is so good. And that scene here, that looks so trivial, that looks so simple, actually shows you how resolved he is with his ideas, with his faith, and that nothing could compromise him.
Oh, I see. You don't want to get your hands dirty. I understand. Well, unfortunately, you don't have a choice. The dyer's hand is always stained by the elements he works with.
Here is my element. The spiritual element. The higher element. Now you tell me, am I stained by it?
And that is it. You could threaten Thomas More, but there was nothing you could do to convince him to do something that he truly believed being wrong. He could not go against the Pope's authority. In the end, the real reason why Thomas More was executed, he didn't oppose as we believe, he had nothing truly against. There's nothing in the source where he hated Anne Boleyn or he had truly something against her. When the Parliament recognised Anne Boleyn as Queen of England and her heirs as the heir to the thrones, he agreed. He believed in the Parliament's power to decide who should be ruling. He had, in a way, no problem with that. But he had a problem with how Henry handled the whole thing, the break with Rome. He had a problem, a real problem, with accepting Henry VIII as the head of the church. He could not accept it. And that's why he was thrown in the tower. That's why he was ultimately executed. Now, in the popular beliefs, people are like, but Anne Boleyn plotted his execution and pushed for Henry to execute him. And that's not true. That's just not true. The one who wanted him dead was Henry VIII. Because he was showing him what it was to have true beliefs, what it was to be willing to die for your values and your faith. So here, that little scene between Cardinal Wolsey and Thomas More is so spot on. It really shows how Thomas More was resolved in his beliefs and how he would never let anyone telling him what was right or wrong, because he already knew. As Cardinal Wolsey said, you don't want to get your hands dirty. It has nothing to do with it. He could not deny his true beliefs, and he was not going to do it. Let me know in the comments if you knew all of this about Thomas More, because I know he's such a complex figure. And please look in the box. I have an amazing recommendation biography for you from obviously Dr. John Paul. You are going to love this book. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!